Outdoor Obsessions Beyond the Backyard is brought to you by Ultimate Archery and Outdoors, Ultimate Deer Products, Red Light Food Plot Seed Company, Edge Attracts Incorporated, Jay's Sporting Goods, and Tacticam. Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Backyard. Beyond the Backyard is brought to you by our awesome sponsors, Ultimate Archery and Outdoors in West Branch, Ultimate Deer Products, Red Light Food Plot Seed Company, Edge Attracts Incorporated, Tacticam, and Jay's Sporting Goods. This is a special episode number 5, and I have to talk about something that just happened today, which is Friday. The Natural Resource Commission just made it possible for people to shoot bucks during the Liberty Hunt and Independence Hunt in Michigan. Actually, they did 2 things. That's the first thing we'll talk about, is that they made it able for youth, disabled veterans, and disabled hunters to be able to shoot bucks. Obviously, last year they changed it. They made it so last year was going to be the last year that you could go out and shoot a buck during the Liberty Hunt, during the disabled Independence Hunt, and thankfully they changed it back. Now, we've talked about this on here quite a bit. There are multiple opinions on the topic. You get a lot of people that talk about that it's taken away all the big bucks, that these youth hunters, and they always focus on the youth. But the thing about it, the takeaway wasn't just for the youth. It was for our awesome, my fellow veterans that were wounded. They weren't going to be able to shoot bucks. It was our independence hunt, our disabled hunters out there. They weren't going to be able to, you're going to expect these people to go out there, that some of them are in wheelchairs, to go out there and have to hunt during the normal season in cold conditions. So I didn't see it was right at any point there. But we've had a lot of different opinions about the topic of kids shooting bucks. Now, supposedly the DNR did this because they wanted more does to be shot. I don't think it was going to happen. What I think was going to happen is you might get some people to go out, but I think you'd see a huge drastic decrease in the amount of youth hunters going out this year if they would have kept it like they did with does only during the Liberty Hunt and the Independence Hunt. But as of today, like I said, the Natural Michigan Commission, Resource Commission, changed it and reinstated that you can shoot bucks during the Liberty Hunt and during the Independence Hunt. So as of today, that is official. We had heard talks about it, some rumblings about it, that they were trying to put it through the House to reinstate it after it was changed last year, making last year supposedly the last year that you were going to be able to shoot a buck in the state of Michigan during those hunts. But like I said, as of today, that has been changed back in the state of Michigan. Like I said, if you are a kid this year, you can shoot a buck. Now, I do think the whole thing about it, I do think there should be some modification to the kid part of the Liberty Hunt. Sorry. I am not saying that we should get rid of it. I'm not saying we should just change the Liberty Hunt altogether. I do think there should be some modifications for the kids in the fact that there should be only so many years. Me and Tony have talked about this before on previous episodes, that you should only get so many years to hunt and Liberty Hunt. I think 3 to 4 years seems reasonable to me, that you get to go out there, hey man, get 3 or 4 good bucks, and then, then you can start hunting with the rest of us. I do not see anything wrong with that, to modify it. Now, for them just to cut it out last year, and supposedly their reason is that they wanted to have people shoot more does, and that's why they changed it to does only. But I do think you need it. Our hunting numbers have decreased over the years, which, here's the thing, man. It's a business. Government is a business. So they have to get their money somehow. And if you have less money come in because you have less hunters, you're going to have to increase prices. Now, as we talked about in our episode maybe 2, about our proposal that Governor Whitmer is trying to increase the prices for the state of Michigan for hunting and fishing this year. Um, it has been increased in what, 11 years. So am I mad that they're trying to increase prices? Yes. But back to the youth hunters, we need them. We need future hunters. And whatever it takes to grab those future hunters, and yeah, you might get, say you take 10 kids out. What if only 4 of those kids um, stick with it and hunt for the rest of their lives? Um, well, that's 4 more hunters you had that you didn't have before. You might have had 1 hunter before out of those 10 that would have ever, stuck with it and became future adult hunters in the state of Michigan. So you do have to do something. Um, and you hear these topics that always come up that say, back in my day, I didn't get to hunt to this age. And I'm right there with you. I'm 42. I'm not the oldest. But we didn't have a youth hunt. You couldn't gun hunt to a certain age. You couldn't bow hunt to a certain age. But things change. And you can't sit there and just act like, well, back in my day, well, it's a different generation. They're different kids. They don't have maybe the same patience that we have. I mean, we could sit there for 3-4 hours because you didn't have that quick. You didn't watch. Look at on YouTube Shorts. You have all this stuff that's 30-second clips, right? And so these kids are used to these instant gratification, and so sometimes maybe it takes a couple youth hunts, get them really hooked to make them want to sit a little longer. Like I said, we're not built the same. But I've even noticed, like, for example, my daughters both have shot some nice bucks during the youth hunt. Some have shot some, after the youth hunt during cold weather. I know my youngest daughter, I think the one year we went out during the youth hunt, didn't get anything. And then she ended up shooting her first buck, I think it was November, and we had about 20 inches of snow, and I think it was 20 degrees out or less, and we didn't have a heater, and she sat out there for 3 hours, 2 days in a row, and shot her first buck. And then the next year, she shot a monster 11-point buck during the youth hunt. And then last year, we went out during the youth hunt. She had a couple opportunities to shoot a nice one, decent one, and she didn't shoot it. And then she actually sat, I think we sat 30 hours plus during the actual season, and she never got a chance to shoot a buck last year, but she sat out there, no phone, just sat there. And that right there, you're going to get kids like that. You're going to get quite a few kids like that. Some kids don't have the ability to sit there, but once you hook them, like I said, you had that youth hunt 11-point that she shot a couple years ago, and that's all it took. And now she's hooked, and she's got that drive in her. And so that's why I think it is important that we do allow them to shoot bucks during the youth hunt. And like I said, you have people that are watching, like, she shot this kid shot my buck. In reality, we don't own any of these deer. Now, don't get me wrong. We invest times, and we're always heartbroken when someone shoots a deer that we've been watching for weeks or months. And I don't care if it's an adult, because here's the thing: it's going to happen. It can be a kid or an adult, and these people are mad that these kids are shooting these bucks that they've been watching for months. But the reality of it is that the deer change their pattern so much. I mean, you have this deer that you've been watching, and it's, say the youth hunt was what, September 9th and 10th typically. I'm not exactly sure for this year, but that's what it's been the last couple of years. And Joe Schmo has been watching this deer all summer. Well, guess what? That summer pattern that they've been on, that kid just shot it. There's a good chance that come October 1st, that deer won't even be on that same pattern. I mean, I'm not going to say 100% that it wouldn't be, but there's a pretty good chance that summer pattern that they shot it on, that you had the deer on camera all summer, by the time that you had a chance to even go out there and hunt that buck, there's a good chance that buck would never even came into your area, that he would have changed his pattern up completely by that time. So to sit there and to claim that these kids are stealing bucks from you is hogwash, because we don't own the deer. They're not our possession. Do I get heartbroken when I have a giant buck and someone shoots it? Yeah, but then I realize it's not my deer. That's just the luck of the game, man. It's right place and the right time. And um, but at the end of the day, we have to get more people hooked into hunting. Uh, and so that by them coming together and making it so that we can uh, take these kids out and they can shoot bucks during the Liberty hunt, that our disabled veterans can shoot bucks. Because first of all, anybody that has a problem with a disabled veteran shooting a buck is a huge problem with me, because I myself am an Iraq veteran, and I know guys that have been wounded, and they get to go on this Liberty hunt. And I think any veteran that's gone out there and sacrificed and put their life on the line should have first dibs on any buck out there. They made that sacrifice. They raised their hand. They went off to war. They came home with mental and physical injuries. So if they want to go have first dibs, more power to them. You can shoot every buck in the woods for all I care. But I'm just glad that they came together and made this decision. I just think it's the right thing to do. Like I said, they do need to modify the youth hunt, just for the age purpose of it. I don't know if I really think someone needs to hunt for 9 years on the youth hunt from the age of 8 years old, 7 years old to 16. Seems like a long time. I mean, it's junior in high school, sophomore in high school, and if you've been shooting bucks for 8 years in a row, you probably don't really need the youth hunt anymore. So that is one thing I think they do need to look at, is possibly just putting a little time frame on it. But like I said, I am glad that they did change it. And the next thing they did change, which is a huge change that hasn't been done in a decade, is they just, along with the Natural Resource Commission making it so you can shoot bucks during the Liberty hunt, Independence hunt, they also made it so you can shoot does during with archery in the Upper Peninsula. That hasn't been done in a decade. So that is huge news for anybody living in the UP. Like I said, this all just came out today. If you go online, look it up. I'm not making this up. I'm not just trying to get clickbait here. This is all just dropped today. The bucks back during the youth hunt is happened today. And at the same time, they made it so now you can take does during archery season in the UP. I had to look a little deeper into it. I'm not sure if that counts like, hey, I can shoot it during firearm season with a bow. I'm taking it that during archery season, you can shoot a doe. So I would definitely take the time to look a little deeper. It's been a decade since you've been able to shoot a doe in the UP, and I'm glad they're doing it. You have these people that I've been up to deer camp a couple of times. My wife's uncle had property up in Newberry, and you'd go out there, spend hours sitting out there, and you see tons of does, and only bucks you'd see were spikes, or not a lot of big ones, and just tons and tons and tons of does. So I'm glad that the Natural Resource Commission made it so you can shoot does in the UP. I mean, the wolves are already taking out half the herd. For the love of God, let the people take some of that meat for themselves. I mean, it took a decade to come to this conclusion. You're not going to let people take care of the wolf population in the UP. At least let them shoot some does. So, two huge things coming out of Lansing today. Not always good news comes out of Lansing, but I'm glad that today they made some smart decisions. Like I said, both bringing back the ability to shoot a buck during the Liberty hunt and Independence hunt, and then the ability to shoot does in the UP during archery. So if you're in either areas, if either of those concern you, those are big things for both people. Like I said, my daughter was pretty excited when I told her today that she could shoot a buck. I mean, she'd go out and shoot a doe too, but she was mostly planning just to go out during the normal season. I gave her first dibs on the first buck that came in during the year last year, because she sat, like I said, probably including in youth hunt, she probably sat anywhere from 30 to 40 hours in the stand last year. Like I said, no phone. She just sat there. I think a couple times she maybe even fell asleep in the stand. I think we've all done that a couple times, um, but yeah, it's awesome news. So spread the word. Like I said, I'm not just saying this. I'm not spreading this out, false information. Go online, look it up yourself. It dropped. I don't know. It was like noon, maybe a little after that when I found out that they were changing that back up. So take your kids out, get them ready. Don't wait until um, September to start having your kids shoot. You get a lot of people out there that complain that there's a lot of wounded deer being, take the time now that you know, okay, hey, we're going to take out, we're going to go out, we're going to shoot a buck. Sit down with your kid, talk about the possibilities, talk about making smart shots, talk about um, just the respect for the animal, really have them grasp. I think a lot of times kids don't really understand what's going on as far as you're taking a life. It's bigger than just shooting something. Especially you get a kid that just thinks I'm gonna go shoot this thing, and all of a sudden you walk up on it and say it was a bad shot, and the deer is half alive. Kind of not prepare them, but really have them understand that the true power of their taking a life. But get out there, like, even more so, get out there and practice with them. Spend that time from now until the Liberty hunt, getting out there, making different shots. Invest that time going out there, helping you cut limbs, really, really putting that work in before that day to really help them appreciate it when it all comes together during that Liberty hunt. If they have that nice buck come in, they'll really appreciate it because they put that time in. You could go out there and do everything for them and get the thing sighted in. Yep, it's good. Let's go out there and shoot a buck. But really take the time to really take the time so they really appreciate what hunting's all about. My love for hunting just keeps doing this. I'll tell you what, I've always loved hunting, but I will honestly tell you in the last 5 years, it has gone through the roof. And a lot of it is because I run the Facebook page there and we put up all your guys' pictures. We put up adults, kids, big buck, nice bucks. And seeing all that and taking my daughter out has just amplified my love for hunting by a million. Like I told her, I said, I would honestly, if she shot a buck, I care less if I shot one. Do I love to go hunting and shoot bucks? Yes. But the joy that you get when you see your child shoot a buck is you can't put a trophy that could get to replace that feeling. You could shoot a 150 and you maybe get near it. But you could ask any dad out there that's been there when their kid shoots a deer. Sometimes I think I'm gonna shake her right out of the stand. If you've ever seen our hunting video, I think Ainsley, when she shot her 11 point, I was you can't see it in the video because the one Tacticam that was facing us was a little too low, but I was squeezing her shoulder pretty hard after she shot that. So no, nothing beats it, Chris. And your kids, and we have a lot of people out there, followers that really do. I see some great parents out there that take the time, go out there and make the memories, or even when they get there, their kids are right there next to them. And that's what it's about. Like we said, back to our thing that we said earlier, that you have to get the generations ahead down the line involved. Like I said, about the money aspect of it, it's a business. So if you don't want your prices to go up, the people out there that are complaining about these kids shooting bucks, well, if we don't get people hooked into hunting, they're going to have to make up that money for all those lost hunters some way, somehow, which means higher prices for you. So if you don't like kids shooting bucks and you don't want people obviously these new hunters getting brought into the system by shooting bucks, getting hooked, then just accept the fact that prices are going to go up in the state of Michigan. But anyways, it has been awesome hearing this news today. I hope you guys have a great Liberty hunt. My disabled veteran friends out there, the kids out there with their parents, and then our independence hunt. It's a great day for all of you guys today. Spread the word. And as always, I want to thank you for your support of not only Michigan Outdoor Obsession, but as our podcast here, Beyond the Backyard. So thanks again. Have a great weekend, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.